Hi, folks. This is Rob of Two Guys in a Ride, and this is Did You Know? Well, the Packard Motor Company started as the Ohio Automobile Company of Warren, Ohio in 1899. James Packard purchased the 12th Winton horseless carriages from the Winton factory in Cleveland. However, it broke down while he was trying to drive, well, 60 miles home to Warren. He had to have it towed by a team of plow horses, and once he got it home, he tinkered with it to find out why it had broken down. Good mechanic that he was, he found and corrected many problems, and when he again saw Alexander Winton, he gave him some suggestions on his vehicle. Alex Winton was not good at taking criticism and told Packard that if he knew so much, maybe he should start his own company, which, of course, well, James Packard did. Packard hired George Weiss and W.A. Hatcher away from Winton in 1899 and had them design the first Packard, a one-cylinder 7-horsepower vehicle driven by a chain drive leading to the rear wheels. The Packard was so popular that 4 more units were assembled and sold right away. In 1899, James Packard formed the Ohio Automobile Company with his brothers, Weiss and Hatcher, and a sales agency was opened in New York to sell Packards and try to raise capital for a larger operation. When Henry B. Joy traveled to New York to purchase a vehicle, he witnessed 2 Packards take off to chase a fire engine. He was impressed by the way the vehicles began instantly. He purchased the only other Packard left in the city and drove it back to his home in Detroit. Henry B. Joy's father was James Frederick Joy, one of the founders of the Republican Party, and instrumental in reviving the Michigan Southern Railroad. The elder Joy was very involved in the push to build a new railroad line to Missouri and obtaining funding for the Sioux Locks. He hired Abraham Lincoln when Lincoln was beginning his law practice to help with railroad mergers. His son Henry was also a successful businessman when he saw and purchased his Packard automobile. Henry Joy secured financing for the Packard brothers from the sons of the Detroit business stalwarts of the 1900s. Among them were seed tycoon Dexter Ferry's son, labor baron Russell Alger's son, millionaire Senator James McMillan's son Philip, and the son of Charles du Charmain of the Michigan Stove Company. It's interesting that in all these cases, it was the son of the tycoon who put up the money. Henry B. Joy was named president of the company. By 1903, the Packard brothers were pretty much out of the picture as far as running the company operations. They would later sell their stock and exit the company completely. The Packard Motor Company built a new auto plant in Detroit in 1903. Designed by architect Albert Kahn, and in 1905, Kahn designed the famed Building 10 of the Packard complex. Building 10 was the first in the world to be constructed of reinforced concrete. In 1904, the company produced its first trucks, at first to help in the construction of its own plants, and after to sell to the public. Henry Joy led the company through many prosperous years, and in 1916 he became chairman of the board. He was instrumental in starting aircraft engine manufacturer Liberty Motors and was in on the development of the V-12 engine used in many aircraft of the day. He later purchased land in the Mount Clemens Chesterfield Township area and built Joy Airfield, one of the first airfields in the nation. The airfield was purchased by the government during World War I and renamed Selfridge Air Force Base, named for Thomas Selfridge, who in 1908 was the first man to be killed in a plane crash. The street adjoining the base is still known as Joy Road for Henry Joy. It is fitting to have a road named after him, since Joy was one of the main sponsors of the Lincoln Highway Association, which was dedicated to building a concrete road from San Francisco to New York. Joy lived to see the road completed. By savvy marketing and selling a lower-priced automobile, Packard Motor Car Company survived the Great Depression and in 1937 was the ninth largest auto company in the United States. Packard continued to sell medium-priced autos and did well in the 1940s. With more than $8 million in cash reserves, the company realized that because of its rising post-World War II prices for tools, dies, and various other components needed for auto production, it would be a good time to acquire a partner auto company to share expenses. The Packard Motor Car Company was heavily courted by Nash Motors to join its conglomerate of Nash and Hudson. With lots of offers to choose from, Packard eventually struck up a deal with Studebaker Corporation in 1956. The production of new Packards was moved to the Studebaker factory in Indiana, and thereafter the Packard story coincided with that of Studebaker. Thanks for watching.